Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot believe Noah Lyles just did what he did. Noah Lyles actually won the 100 meters. I am shocked. I cannot believe this. I said if Noah Lyles was going to win this 100 meters, he would win it in a 9.79 because there was no way he would run a 9.7 low. So the scenario that Noah Lyles needed to get this gold medal happened. He needed KeShawn Thompson to choke and tense up, which he did, and Noah Lyles needed to run the race of his life and become a great runner, which he did. He's officially a 9.7 runner. To me, that classifies you as a great sprinter because not everyone can run 9.7. So, wow, Noah Lyles isn't even my favorite runner. In fact, I was hoping somebody else would win, but now that he's won, honestly, what I can say is I got to respect the accomplishments about Noah Lyles. Like, he backed up the talk. He walked the walk, talked the talk. He did all that, and he is now officially one of the greatest sprinters in sprinting history, guys. He's a 3-time world champion in the 200 and a one-time world champion in the 100 and now an Olympic 100-meter champion, and it looks like he's going to get the double by winning the 200 in a few days. Guys, if he wins the double in the 200, he will have done what no one else has done since Usain Bolt. Last year, he was the first man to double since Usain Bolt. And if this year, if he does the Olympic double, oh my gosh, he will be in a class with Usain Bolt. And his PR is not that far off. If Noah Lyles had a PR like a 9.7 low or 9.6, he would be way more comparable to Usain Bolt. The only thing that he really does have comparable to Usain Bolt in terms of racing is the 200. And I honestly think overall Noah Lyles is a better 200-meter runner than Usain Bolt. In terms of consistency, peak for peak, not really. Usain Bolt still wins, but Noah Lyles, you can argue he is the second greatest sprinter of all time. Michael Johnson still exists, so he's like with Michael Johnson, but Michael Johnson has way more gold medals, so I can't say that for sure. But in terms of short sprinting, Noah Lyles might be number 2 all time right now. He's definitely number 2 or 3 because I can't think of another male athlete who's done what Noah Lyles has done in the 200 and recently in the 100 in a short period of time. In the last 5 years, guys, Noah Lyles has dominated the 200 except for that one Olympics in Tokyo. And the 100 meters, in the last 2 years, he's gotten gold. In the last 2 years, meaning last year and this year. So, wow. And let's talk about the other competitors. KeShawn Thompson. KeShawn Thompson just showed us his cars, guys. He is a Sofapal 2.0. I am beyond disappointed that KeShawn Thompson choked this 100-meter race. And he looked so tight at the 30-meter mark. I was saying to myself, oh my God, he might actually lose this race because he was swinging like a maniac. He wasn't running like he was running in the rounds or at the trials. And Noah Lyles was coming in hard, relaxed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a photo finish if it comes down to it. And it was. KeShawn Thompson ran 9.79. He lived up. Well, he didn't live up. He ran close to his full potential. So it's not like he disappeared. He got a silver medal, which is very good with the 9.79. Same time as Noah Lyles, guys. Same time. But we know KeShawn Thompson is capable of a 9.7 low based on what we've seen him do at the Jamaican trials, what he was doing in the rounds. Guys, he ran a 9.80 in the semis, and he eased up like 20 meters out. That was 0.01 slower than his final time. Are you telling me that if 20 meters of less effort equates to 0.01 of improvement in the final? I don't believe so. In fact, it's a tenth of a 0.1 in the 100. If you ease up 20 meters before the line, that means you can run 0.1 faster. So technically, if my theory is correct, KeShawn Thompson should have ran 9.70 and won this final, but he didn't. He choked. And let's go on to the third place, Fred Curley. So if you watched my 100-meter prediction video, I guessed the podium right, just not in the correct order. I had KeShawn at 1, Fred at 2, and Noah at 3. So all that changes. Noah went from third to one, and the order remained the same elsewhere. So I had KeShawn beating Fred, but Noah beat all of them, which is shocking. And this is one of the greatest races in recent history. What we can say about the 100 meters now is it is so competitive. It was 9.8. There was like 4 or 6 9.8 zeros. Guys, look at every other final in recent history. If you get a 9.80, you're definitely going to get a medal. Like in 2009 when Usain Bolt broke the world record, Asafa Powell was the only 9.8 runner, and he got bronze. We had 6 guys, I believe, run 9.80, 5 or 6. And Akina Sembina ran like 9.83, guys. 9.83, that is a spectacular time. Or 9.82, I have to see. And he got 4th again, bro. Like I said, Akina Sembina is the gatekeeper of elite sprinting. He's the number 1 loser of track and field. And that's not to diss Akina Sembina, but he's in the purgatory of track and field elite sprinting. He's never going to disappoint you in the final in terms of disappearing and coming in last, but he's going to be right there in the mix, but he always loses that bronze medal or any medal contention. You know who is a choker, though? Oblique Seville. Oblique Seville is the... Actually, let me take back what I said about KeShawn Thompson. He kind of showed Asafa Powell stuff in the final, but Oblique Seville, in my opinion, is even worse than Asafa Powell. Asafa Powell at least got medals. Oblique Seville ran 9.81 in the semis and got dead last in the final. Like, how? How is that possible? And Oblique looked like he eased up in the semis. So let's go back to Noah Lyles. Oh, yeah. One more thing. Marcel Jacobs, guys. Marcel Jacobs, in my opinion, was going to win this final. If you watch the race, Marcel Jacobs had the lead, but he got injured mid-race. If you look at his start and acceleration, he had a great reaction. He was driving really good. I think he had the lead at 20 meters, and I'm like, oh my God, Marcel is going to win this race and shock the world going back-to-back. But like around 40, you can just see his mechanics and his gait, his running gait. He was like limping. He couldn't go to his top speed anymore. He had to maintain his second fastest gear and hope for the best. And he got a 9.85. So Marcel Jacobs showed up and he performed well. 9.85 season best. That's a respectable time, very good time. But I honestly think Marcel Jacobs, if he didn't get injured mid-race, he would have won this because he looked like he was on pace for 9.76, 9.77. And one thing about Marcel is he's not a choker because he's a proven Olympic champion. And in this race, he showed up, but he got injured mid-race. So I'm not going to hold that against him. And last year and the year before, he was having injuries. So we didn't expect much from him. But we knew he had the capability of showing up at the big meet. And he did show up, but he got injured. So I'm not going to hate on Marcel Jacobs. I think he'll be back. He'll probably win a 100-meter gold in the next few years if he gets healthy. Because I don't see anybody else besides Noah Lyles beating him when he's at full strength. So back to Noah Lyles. Noah Lyles, definitely an all-time great now. I'm kind of salty, but I kind of got happy for Noah Lyles because I was cringing so hard for the documentary calling him the fastest man in the world. I'm like, how can you call yourself the fastest man in the world if you haven't even ran 9.7 in your life? I know you're the 100-meter champion from last year, so technically you do have that title. But this year you lost to people. You don't even have a top 2 time in the year for the most part. But then I told you guys in my last video, Noah Lyles peaks at the right time more often than not. And I said he's going to have to run the race of his life, and he will. He always runs the races of his life at the finals, and he ran the perfect race. He did just enough to win this gold medal. He lived up and exceeded his full potential, and the runner-up and the third-place finisher, guys, they did not live up to their full potential. They tensed up. They weren't ready, and that's why they lost. So congrats to Noah Lyles. Like I said, I think we got to start talking about Noah Lyles as a different person in track and field. Like, He's now in the Usain Bolt conversation. Usain Bolt is still levels above. Well, I want to say levels, a couple levels above Noah Lyles. He's not that far off, but he's kind of far. But Noah Lyles is now in a class of his own in terms of all-time greats that are active right now. There's no other person in the world right now that is in the same class as Noah Lyles besides Carson Warholm. Carson Warholm is the only other guy, but his event isn't popular. And, so Noah Lyles... No, not even Carson Warholm, because if Noah Lyles does the double, he's going to be in a class of his own. 3 world championships on the 2, 1 in the 100, and now he's about to get a gold in the 200 with his 100. So we could see some history here. What I would say is watch out for that 200 meters. Wow. What do you think of that final? And what are your predictions for the 200? The 200, I think Noah Lyles is going to beat Kenny Bednarik and get the double, guys. Wow. Stay tuned for the 200-meter prediction, guys. Stay tuned. Congrats to Noah Lyles.